What's up YouTube? Welcome back. It is the Lazy Daze channel and we're going to be doing some history reaction. And today you have got Tubby and you have got Jack.
Yo.
And we're going to be doing some oversimplified World War One. Obviously we've done the this is World War One Part One. We obviously done the World War Two Part 1 and 2 earlier on in the week.
That was an eye-opener, bro.
Yeah,
that was crazy.
That was not as much as the death.
Not as much as the death, but is kind of like the periods of when it all occurred.
Yeah. And obviously it had the funny element, but it still gave you quite a lot of sort of information, sort of where like the Blitzkrieg through the Ardennes. Sort of went over, maybe not in chronological order, but obviously you had Dunkirk.
How like he done certain things.
Yeah, that's it. So there were still quite a few key points that I still remember now.
Yeah, definitely. And the videos that are done by Oversimplified, go check out his channel. They're really well done.
They're really well done. They're so well done. The animation style is absolutely great. So if you have obviously not checked his content out, please go over to him. But yeah, we're just looking forward to sort of jumping straight into this. So that's what we're going to do.
Yeah, there will be a link in the description for Oversimplified's channel. If you want to check it out.
And if you guys are liking our content, then please like, comment, subscribe. Let us know what else you want us to react to. We enjoy going back and forth with you guys. Thank you very much.
Let's do this.
The world of 1914, a time of modern technology, culture, and fashion. Truly the height of civilization. Let's have a war.
An ostrich farm.
Everyone knew a big war was coming. France wanted some stuff back that Germany had taken from it. Germany wanted to take more of everyone's stuff, and they were building a big sexy navy that was making the British uncomfortable. These two empires thought they were really cool, but lots of different people who lived there didn't think.
I forgot about the Ottoman Empire.
And some of them had
that crumbled after this war.
With help from Russia. Everyone was talking about each other behind each other's backs. Throw in the fact that military technology had come a long way since the last major war, and suddenly everyone was pretty eager to beat each other up.
It was just brilliant, wasn't it?
In this area of Austria-Hungary lives some
What was
Serbs
the
and
last
Bosnians
war?
who hated living in Austria.
What was the last war before World War One? What was that one? Oh, we're going to have to Google that later and have a look.
I think it might have been a civil war.
Civil War?
In America.
Right.
I think so.
Okay.
Let me think. I'm just trying to think.
We'll have to have a little look at that. I want to find out what happened before that.
I'm very good with that sort of before the modern industrial era. I'm just trying to think. Napoleonic Wars, was that the same time as the American Revolution? I think that was before. The Napoleonic
Possible world wars are the 9-year War in 1688, followed by the War of the Spanish Succession, the War of the Australian Succession, the 7-year War.
But he's not necessarily talking about World War, he's talking about the last sort of big war.
Yeah, the American Revolutionary War, the French Revolutionary Wars, the Napoleonic Wars, Crimean War.
Were they all at the same time?
The Crimean War was before World War One.
Oh, okay, yeah. And what about the Napoleonic Wars?
Napoleonic Wars was before Crimean.
So I'd say I think it was that one, and then the American Revolution was before that, was it? Well, that's really interesting. No, I didn't know. I thought the American Revolution happened after the Napoleonic Wars.
Yeah, we'll have to go into that.
Yeah, I think Oversimplified has some.
Oh,
so, we'll definitely have a look.
Hungary. So the Austro-Hungarian Archduke Franz Ferdinand goes there for a nice drive in an open-top car with his car's route published in advance, and that went just about as well as you'd expect. Some assassins were waiting for him along the way and threw bombs at his car, but they missed and blew up some officers. So the Archduke goes into hiding, leaves Sarajevo, and the whole war never happened. Except no, the Archduke doesn't leave, but instead goes back out in the open-top car to visit the injured officers in hospital. The driver takes a wrong turn and by sheer coincidence gets stuck beside one of the failed assassins.
No.
Hungary is understandably pissed about all this, and they think the Serbian government had something to do with it, which they might have. So they go to their ally Germany and say, hey Germany, we're going to declare war in Serbia. And Germany is all for that. So Austria-Hungary send a big list of impossible demands to Serbia, and when Serbia refuses, they declare war. Austria-Hungary and Germany are friends, and Serbia is protected by Russia, who's friends with France, so they'll declare war on each other. Montenegro joins in too. France and Britain also have a kind of alliance. So when France says, hey Britain, you got my back? Britain is like,
hello.
Maybe. And then they decide to stay out of it, which is great for Germany, because Germany has a plan. They know that Russia is so big and clumsy that it will take them a while to get ready for war. So with this guy in charge, Germany will send all its troops into France at lightning speed while Russia's getting ready, defeat France, then move all the troops to Russia.
Because obviously Hitler got the same idea as
just one
from
problem.
the First World War.
France has loads of forts and defenses along its German border, and Germany can't waste any time fighting them, so Germany decides to go around them through Belgium. Belgium is neutral, but Germany wants to march 750,000 troops through it to get around France's defenses. They're hoping Belgium will just kind of sit down and shut up, but they don't. They fight back, and they're pretty good too, so they slow the Germans down.
Good old Belgians.
That Britain shows up, and they're pretty pissed that Germany's invading neutral countries. So now Britain declares war on Germany.
Okay,
so Germany
that's how we got involved.
Belgium and commit some atrocities along the way. They also wear spikes and sometimes skulls on the uniform. So if you're trying to not look like the bad guys, good job.
I was just about to say, if you're like not trying to look like the bad guys, like what are you doing? What do you guys think? That looks just terrible.
Yeah,
let's
put a couple of skull and crossbones on our hats, and we're going to look like the good guys. Still think Jack Sparrow was a good guy. Different views, I guess.
Different views. Mate, propaganda was disgusting back then.
It went insane.
And spends most of the war trying to get everyone to just hug it out. But there's also a large population of Germans living in the United States, and when the war first broke out, they were like, yay, Germany. But now that they're committing atrocities in Belgium, they're less enthusiastic. Let's play Spot the French Soldier. Did you see him? Easy, right? He's wearing a bright blue uniform with red trousers. And do you know who else spotted him easily too? The Germans. So when the French were slowly marching in columns through the countryside, the Germans easily shreds with their giant guns.
But they didn't
went in with an old school war mentality. And
I mean, this is the First World War.
Tactics a lot during the Great War. Because this war was going to be like nothing anyone had ever seen before.
Serbians didn't have boots.
Way earlier than expected. The Austria-Hungary, can you get on top of that? Oh yeah, sure, we've got this. Nope. So Germany has to send some The chief of staff of the Austro-Hungarian army is this guy, and although he is handsome, he turns out not to be the best military strategist. Austria-Hungary constantly...
What a moustache.
That is a moustache and a half. Should I get one?
What's she trying to attach, man?
Austria-Hungary even gets ass kicked by tiny Serbia, who repels all their invasion attempts at the start of the war. It's better news for Germany in the north, though, where they almost completely wipe out the Russian Second Army. Back on the Western Front, the Germans continue advancing and are in sight of Paris. At this point, anyone would be forgiven for thinking the Germans were going to get that quick victory after all. But then things start to go wrong. The French commander-in-chief knew something had to be done, and he ordered his armies to stop retreating. In the resulting battle, a gap opened up in the German lines. If a gap opens up, the enemy can flank you from the side and behind, so the German armies have to retreat. The Allies launch a counterattack, so the Germans dig into defensive positions. The Allies do the same. Then both sides move north, trying to outflank each other along the way. When they reach the sea, they're in a stalemate with trench systems running the whole way from the coast to Switzerland, the beginning of trench warfare on the Western Front. Here's how trenches two opposing lines of trenches with no man's land in between. One side would pummel the other with hundreds of thousands of artillery shells, sometimes for days at a time. This had a huge psychological effect on the soldiers, leaving many...
Could you imagine going through trench warfare, Jack?
Right, when I was in year 6, we went to the Natural History Museum in London.
I was there, same class.
Yeah. I forget this, man. And we did that little trench experience, didn't we? And we would walk through that, and it was like...
That was one of the best experiences.
That was really good, honestly. That was so good.
The History Museum.
And like at that height, at that age, we were literally just below that trench line. So you got to think like we're twice the height now, and we'd have to be crouching down, scrolling through, trying to carry ammo. That'd be horrible, man. And like, you got trench foot.
6 hours of sleep. That's it.
6 hours, not 6 seconds. Bombing artillery all day, every day.
Sometimes it goes a bit.
No, man. Yeah, have you seen the picture of the war soldier that's got shell shock? Like,
yeah,
mate.
That's crazy, mate. Honestly, trench warfare is the scariest thing. Like the modern warfare that we have now is a lot better than what these people had to go through back in the day. Like, because like this is especially this one. This is World War One. So there were so many things that we were learning during that period of time that we just didn't know today.
It's a whole new like.
It's a whole new game, a whole new set of rules. Everyone starts from level 1. No one's got idea of what's going on, and it's just like have fun. and who can get to 50
Like,
first.
yeah, it's just like good luck.
Yeah, that's it. Sorry, good luck. Yeah, not have fun. Good luck, and see who gets to 50 first, and then follow that pattern. Right, but at the beginning, no one knew.
It was just chaos.
It's crazy. Man. It's absolutely crazy.
But the Germans, like they were quite well off.
Yeah.
In their trenches and bunkers, because they
were they?
Some of them,
I don't think so. I think that's just propaganda from our side.
No. I'm pretty sure like if there were some of their bunkers and that are a lot better. Like they look a lot better. I'm sure of it. Man.
I reckon that was just a selectional thing. Maybe commanders, but I reckon our commanders had slightly better bunkers. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, not at all.
Yeah, like a commander. Yeah, you'd have like.
I reckon that's what it is.
You wouldn't be actually in the trenches sleeping, would you?
Yeah, there you go.
Shell shock. Then the attacking troops would leave their trenches and rush across no man's land, a muddy, wet mass of shell craters and barbed wire.
Oh.
The defending trench would unleash.
I don't know if I had the bollocks to do that. You know.
Thousands of casualties.
It's literally straight after artillery.
Yeah.
You think they're running. You just got to get up and just start defending.
The deaths of thousands in order to gain a few meters or kilometers of land.
Yeah.
Living in the trenches was hard work too. Corpses,
yeah, bro.
Mud that could swallow you whole, pools of poisonous water, rats, disease, the smell. It's insane that millions of soldiers
These
put up with
poor
these
human
conditions,
beings.
and commanders ordered them to do so for years.
It's ridiculous.
Oh, well then. What a way to end it.
What a way to end it.
Yeah. So guys, well I quite like that.
I did as well.
It's yeah.
I didn't think like thousands of lives were getting lost just for literally a few meters. That's just crazy.
It's so interesting.
How long do you reckon you could have lasted in a trench?
You had no choice. You had to be there. And like the thing with it as well is like obviously
like mentally, how long do you think you could have put up with knowing the stress? Not being one of these lads that are going in there straight away and not knowing what's going on. You've got the knowledge.
I don't know.
How long do you reckon you could last in that trench?
I really don't know how long. Do you know what I mean? I like to say a while, but you don't know until you're in there. Like that type of warfare, and like I don't know, man.
It's kind of you look at it and you think, yeah, no, this can't be that bad.
We're
you're
also,
there for a few hours.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm very. I'm gonna be honest. I'm very privileged. Do you know what I mean? I'm very privileged. Like I like to say I'll be able to handle it, but like I don't know. Like when you're in there, like obviously I have my own problems already. Like I'd struggle like in that type of thing, in that type of environment. There'd be so many mental issues that come with it, and so on and so forth. Like, but again, like I'd like at the moment I'd say I wouldn't last and I'd crumble. But back in those times, you didn't have an option.
Yeah, like most of today's people would just be like, no, I'm not even going to bother doing it.
No, yeah, nowadays
then they were just like, no, we've got to do this.
Do you know what I mean? If nowadays, if a Western culture like decided to do conscription or something like that, there would be a big uproar. But back in them days, if they said we need to conscript you because of this, and this, I think a lot more people would be a lot more accepting because they were a lot more proud of their country.
Yeah.
Whereas now, like I think people are more individualist than happy to have one country. Like they're like, oh well, if an opportunity means that I have to move over to Japan, I guess I'll move over to Japan. Do you know what I mean? Like they'll happily move and change and go where the water flows them and not sort of as set to their country and so on and so forth.
If it was to happen today, like how many people do you reckon would actually be like, yeah, no,
it's hard to say.
My country.
It's hard to say. Hard to say. I don't know. It all depends. I think it all depends on if how far away it is. If they've got if they want to conscript us for a war in Europe, a lot more people will be accepting of it. If they wanted to conscript us for a war in, I'm only talking from our perspective as our government and obviously how we would feel. If they wanted to script us for obviously fights in obviously Middle Eastern, Asian or African sort of warfare, we'd be a lot more upset about it, not as accepting.
If they're asking people, if they're asking the public, would you go?
If we got invaded, then I think a lot more British people would be like, oh no, we'll fight for it.
I think if we got invaded, that would probably put the entire British...
But I think that's the 3 levels. So if it's invasion, I think
invasion, you've had it. Like everyone's going to take. Everyone's getting involved.
If it's European, I think a lot more people will be more accepting to do it, but they won't necessarily want to. And then the last one is obviously an Eastern one. 2 seconds. Yeah, and then obviously the last one is the Middle Eastern one.
Yeah.
Which I think will struggle. And again, it falls on like I said. I think our generation would struggle with it a lot more. The older generation.
They'd be panicking that they don't have a charging port.
Yeah, man. And they're just so anti-government that I don't think they would like to.
I don't think they'd be able to survive.
Yeah. They don't realise that we'd be fighting for democracy, not so much our country.
Yeah.
That's how I try and look at things. When a lot of these, like the war in Ukraine, I don't see that as sort of.
I look at that and think like these people fighting for their country.
They are, but it's also like the reason why like the West, like we're sort of like defending it a bit more is because it's more a fight for democracy over communism.
It's like NATO, isn't it? Part of NATO.
In NATO, but it's more because Ukraine are a democracy country, and like so they were democracy. They weren't so much communist, and then the thing with it is they were willing to join NATO, which puts takes away the buffer between Europe and Russia.
Yeah.
So it was a bit of both. It's the fact they were democracy, and then also they wanted to become a NATO. So the two on top of each other, just that. But yeah. If you guys are liking that content, we are indeed. We're looking forward to the Oversimplified WW1 Part 2. If you guys are enjoying it, like I said just a second ago, then please like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. If you want to drop anything down in the comments down below, we always try and get back to you guys and answer as much as we can. Let us know what you want us to react to. But for now, that's it from us.
See you later, guys.